When life falls apart, most people panic. They run, they shout, they cry, and they ask, why me? But the truth is, life was never meant to be stable. It is movement. It is change. It is transformation. And sometimes destruction is part of creation. When the storm comes, you have two choices: to fight the rain or to learn how to dance in it. Strength does not mean you never fall apart. It means you fall, but you don't stay down. You let pain shape you, not break you. When your world collapses, do not rush to rebuild it. First, sit in the silence, listen, observe, breathe, because in silence, truth whispers, and only from truth can a stronger version of you rise again. Strength is not born in comfort. It is born in chaos. The strongest trees are not the ones sheltered from wind, but those that bend, yet do not break. When life tests you, remember, you are not being punished. You are being prepared. Prepared for depth, for wisdom, for power. So, when everything around you seems to crumble, do not chase what is leaving. Instead, build what is eternal: your mind, your discipline, your peace. Don't ask life to be easier. Ask yourself to become stronger. For true strength is not found in control. It is found in surrender, in letting go, in trusting, in continuing, even when nothing makes sense. So rise. Not because the world tells you to, but because your spirit refuses to stay down. Stay strong, not in the body, but in the mind. Not through resistance, but through awareness, because storms will come again. But next time, you will not just survive them. You will walk through them, calm, clear, and unshaken. Everything in life is constantly moving. Nothing remains the same. The seasons change, people evolve, relationships shift, and even the strongest emotions fade with time. Yet, when life begins to fall apart, we resist this natural rhythm. We hold on to what is slipping away, thinking that control will bring us safety. But strength is not in holding on. It is in understanding that everything is meant to change. When you accept impermanence, you stop fighting reality and start flowing with it. The pain does not disappear, but it stops defining you, because you begin to see life as a wave, always rising, always falling, always moving forward. To accept impermanence means to see through the illusion of permanence, to understand that nothing you have or feel is truly fixed. Your success, your struggles, your happiness, your sorrow, all are visitors. When you cling to one and fear the other, you suffer. But when you welcome both, you begin to taste freedom. Life is not meant to stay still. It is a continuous unfolding, and your peace lies in adapting, not in controlling. The moment you stop demanding that life remain as it was, you create space for something new to grow. When everything around you collapses, remember that endings are not always destruction. Sometimes they are transformation in disguise. Just as a tree sheds its leaves to prepare for new growth, life asks you to let go so you can evolve. When you embrace impermanence, you no longer live in fear of loss, because you realize that nothing is ever truly lost. It merely changes form. Strength begins where attachment ends, and acceptance becomes your shield against the storms of change. When chaos enters your life, it rarely comes with a warning. One day you feel in control, and the next, everything you depended on begins to crumble. Most people see this as punishment, as if life is working against them. But chaos is not an enemy. It is a teacher disguised in discomfort. It strips away illusion, exposes weakness, and reveals what truly matters. When everything falls apart, you are forced to face yourself without masks, without distractions. This is where real growth begins, in the uncomfortable silence between what you had and what is yet to come. Chaos does not destroy without reason. It dismantles what no longer serves your higher purpose. The plans that failed, the people who left, the dreams that broke, all of them played their role. The purpose of chaos is to test your foundation, to ask, what remains when everything is taken away? And when you find that the answer is you, your awareness, your resilience, your ability to adapt. That's when you start to understand the gift hidden in the turmoil. Every moment of disorder is a mirror reflecting your inner strength or fragility. It shows you what needs to be rebuilt stronger, clearer, and wiser. Embracing chaos means standing in the middle of the storm without begging for it to stop. It means learning to breathe through uncertainty and to listen to the lessons that discomfort brings. The mind will try to escape, to fix, to control, but strength is found in stillness, in watching without panic, in trusting that even chaos follows a pattern that serves your growth. The more you resist it, the longer it stays. The more you open to it, the sooner it transforms you. Chaos refines your spirit, sharpens your focus, and teaches you what peace truly means. Not the absence of conflict, but the presence of clarity within it. When life begins to collapse, the natural impulse is to react, to fix, to run, to shout, to escape the discomfort of uncertainty. Yet the moment you rush into action without clarity, you deepen the confusion. Stillness, on the other hand, is not weakness, it is wisdom in motionless form. To stay still before acting means to pause, breathe, and observe before you move. It means trusting that not every battle needs an immediate response and that sometimes the most powerful action is inaction. In silence, the mind settles, and when the mind settles, truth begins to rise from beneath the surface noise. Stillness allows you to see what emotion tries to hide. When you pause, you begin to witness your thoughts instead of being ruled by them. You start to separate what is real from what is imagined, what is necessary from what is impulsive. The calm mind can see patterns that panic cannot. It can discern where to step next and where to stay still a little longer. This is why meditation, breathing, or simply sitting in silence is not a luxury. It is a survival skill for the soul. The world moves fast, chaos spins faster. But the one who learns to remain centered in stillness becomes unshaken, even as everything around them falls apart. To stay still before acting is also to honor timing. Not every door must be opened immediately. Not every answer must be chased. Sometimes silence reveals more than movement ever could. When you allow the moment to unfold naturally, you align with life's rhythm instead of forcing your own. You begin to sense when to move, when to wait, and when to let go entirely. This stillness is not the absence of strength. It is the mastery of it. It teaches patience, awareness, and discipline. The three pillars that transform survival into strength and confusion into clarity. The desire to control everything around you is born from fear. Fear of loss, fear of failure, fear of the unknown. Yet, the harder you try to control life, the more it slips through your hands. Control gives the illusion of safety, but in truth, it builds invisible chains around your mind. When life falls apart, control becomes your greatest enemy because it blinds you to the natural flow of change. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means surrendering the illusion that you were ever meant to hold everything together. It is understanding that life unfolds with or without your permission, and that peace comes not from mastery over events, but mastery over your response to them. Letting go of control invites trust. Trust in timing, in process, in the unseen forces guiding your path. It teaches you to stop fighting the river and start flowing with its current. You begin to notice that what leaves makes space for what must arrive, and what breaks often reveals what is real. The more you release your grip, the more clearly you begin to see that life is self-balancing. Every loss carries a lesson, every delay has direction, and every ending hides a beginning. When you allow things to unfold naturally, you conserve your strength for what truly matters, your inner stability and awareness. In letting go, you also learn humility, the art of accepting that not everything is within your reach. Control is often an attempt to protect the ego, to prove that you can manage every outcome. But strength is not about managing outcomes. It's about maintaining balance within uncertainty. When you stop demanding that life obey your will, you begin to cooperate with life itself. That cooperation turns chaos into teacher, struggle into discipline, and uncertainty into faith. Letting go of control is not losing power. It is reclaiming the quiet power of trust, patience, and inner freedom. Pain is one of life's most honest teachers. It enters without invitation and leaves only after its lesson has been understood. Most people run from it, bury it, or pretend it isn't there, believing that avoidance will protect them. But pain, when ignored, grows stronger. When faced, it begins to transform. Every wound carries knowledge that cannot be learned from comfort. To transform pain into wisdom is to shift your relationship with suffering, to stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and instead ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" The moment you change that question, pain stops being your enemy and becomes your guide. When you sit with your pain instead of fleeing from it, you begin to see the truth it holds. It may show you where you attached too tightly, where you ignored your intuition, or where you gave away your power. Pain sharpens awareness. It forces you to confront what you once overlooked. In that confrontation, growth begins. Each tear, each disappointment, each heartbreak carves space within you for understanding, empathy, and strength. Just as fire purifies metal, pain purifies the heart. It burns away illusions and pride, leaving behind clarity and depth. What once felt like punishment slowly becomes preparation for a stronger, more conscious version of yourself. Transformation through pain is not about glorifying suffering. It's about using it consciously. The difference between being destroyed by pain and being shaped by it lies in perspective. When you stop resisting and start observing, you reclaim your power. You learn to extract meaning from misery, purpose from loss, and resilience from struggle. Pain becomes a tool, a refining force that deepens your awareness and strengthens your spirit. It teaches you compassion for yourself and others who suffer. It teaches patience and humility. Above all, it teaches you that every scar carries wisdom, and wisdom is what keeps you standing when life tests you again. When life falls apart, the external world becomes unpredictable. But your inner world can still remain grounded through discipline. Discipline is not harshness or control. It is the quiet decision to remain steady when everything else shakes. It is the commitment to do what nourishes your mind, body, and spirit even when you don't feel like it. When chaos surrounds you, routines and rituals become your anchor. Waking up early, meditating, breathing deeply, writing your thoughts, moving your body. These simple acts become sacred when the world outside feels unstable. Inner discipline reminds you that strength is not built in grand gestures, but in the consistency of small, conscious actions repeated every day. Discipline also protects your mind from emotional storms. Without it, you are easily pulled by impulses, doubts, and fears. But with it, you create space between reaction and response. You begin to observe your emotions rather than drown in them. When you are disciplined, you no longer rely on motivation. You rely on principle. You act from clarity, not chaos. You keep your word, especially to yourself, and that builds trust within. That inner trust becomes the foundation of unshakable confidence. You start to realize that true stability is not about having control over life's events, but control over your attention, energy, and focus. Focusing on inner discipline also means mastering your habits and thoughts. The mind, if left untrained, will drag you into fear and self-doubt. Discipline trains it to return to the present moment, to align with purpose rather than panic. It teaches you that resilience is not born in crisis, it is practiced daily in silence. Every time you choose awareness over distraction, patience over frustration, or stillness over reaction, you strengthen the muscle of discipline. And that muscle becomes the armor that carries you through uncertainty. Through discipline, you build a structure inside yourself that no external collapse can destroy. When life falls apart, the external world becomes unpredictable. But your inner world can still remain grounded through discipline. Discipline is not harshness or control. It is the quiet decision to remain steady when everything else shakes. It is the commitment to do what nourishes your mind, body, and spirit even when you don't feel like it. When chaos surrounds you, routines and rituals become your anchor. Waking up early, meditating, breathing deeply, writing your thoughts, moving your body, these simple acts become sacred when the world outside feels unstable. Inner discipline reminds you that strength is not built in grand gestures, but in the consistency of small, conscious actions repeated every day. Discipline also protects your mind from emotional storms. Without it, you are easily pulled by impulses, doubts, and fears. But with it, you create space between reaction and response. You begin to observe your emotions rather than drown in them. When you are disciplined, you no longer rely on motivation, you rely on principle. You act from clarity, not chaos. You keep your word, especially to yourself, and that builds trust within. That inner trust becomes the foundation of unshakable confidence. You start to realize that true stability is not about having control over life's events, but control over your attention, energy, and focus. Focusing on inner discipline also means mastering your habits and thoughts. The mind, if left untrained, will drag you into fear and self-doubt. Discipline trains it to return to the present moment, to align with purpose rather than panic. It teaches you that resilience is not born in crisis, it is practiced daily in silence. Every time you choose awareness over distraction, patience over frustration, or stillness over reaction, you strengthen the muscle of discipline. And that muscle becomes the armor that carries you through uncertainty. Through discipline, you build a structure inside yourself that no external collapse can destroy. When life seems to crumble around you, the first instinct is to question everything, to doubt the path, the timing, even yourself. But the truth is, not every struggle reveals its purpose immediately. Trusting the process means allowing life to unfold without demanding to understand every step. It is the art of faith without evidence, of walking forward even when the path ahead is hidden in fog. Every setback, every detour, every silence serves a purpose you may not yet see. The seed does not question the soil or the darkness. It simply grows because that is its nature. In the same way, you must trust that your current chaos is part of a larger design meant to awaken strength, patience, and clarity within you. Trusting the process requires humility, the acceptance that life operates on a wisdom greater than your own. What feels like delay may be protection. What feels like loss may be redirection. The universe often removes what you think you need so that you can discover what you truly require. When you stop resisting and start trusting, peace replaces panic. You begin to see that not everything broken needs to be fixed. Some things need to end so something higher can begin. Trust does not mean passivity. It means engaging with life fully while allowing time, experience, and divine rhythm to shape the outcome. To trust the process is to release the obsession with immediate results. Modern life teaches us to chase quick answers, instant rewards, and visible progress, but real transformation works in silence and time. When you trust, you allow yourself to grow at the pace of truth, not impatience. You learn to rest in uncertainty without losing direction. You start to recognize that what you call falling apart might simply be life rearranging itself for your evolution. And though the path may feel heavy, trusting the process turns each step into a lesson and each challenge into a teacher. When everything around you begins to collapse, awareness becomes your refuge. Awareness is the quiet observer within you, the space between your thoughts, the calm beneath your emotions. It allows you to see what is happening without being swallowed by it. Most people, when faced with chaos, get lost in reaction. They confuse what they feel with who they are. But awareness separates the two. It reminds you that pain may visit, but it does not define you. Fear may arise, but it does not own you. To anchor yourself in awareness means to step back and witness the storm rather than becoming part of it. From that space of still observation, clarity begins to return, and you realize that you are not the event. You are the consciousness experiencing it. Awareness is built through presence. The more you learn to return your attention to the moment, to your breath, your body, your surroundings, the less power the past and future hold over you. The mind loves to wander into regret and worry, but awareness gently pulls it back into the now. This simple act of returning to the present moment can transform panic into peace. When you are aware, you respond instead of react. You begin to notice how thoughts shape your emotions and how emotions influence your actions. This understanding gives you the power to interrupt destructive patterns and replace them with mindful choices. Awareness turns confusion into understanding, chaos into perspective, and pain into insight. Anchoring in awareness also deepens your connection to inner stillness. You begin to sense that even when everything outside is falling apart, there is a place within you that remains untouched. Calm, stable, and infinite. The more you rest in that space, the less you fear the turbulence of life. You start to move through challenges with quiet strength because you no longer identify with every rise and fall of emotion. Awareness doesn't erase pain, it gives it meaning. It doesn't stop storms, it allows you to walk through them with open eyes and a steady heart. When awareness becomes your anchor, nothing external can truly shake you because you've discovered the unshakable center within. When life begins to fall apart, one of the deepest pains comes from watching something or someone you love slip away. The mind resists, the heart clings, and you fight to hold on, not because it is right, but because it is familiar. Yet, true strength lies in learning to detach from what is leaving, to let go with grace instead of fear. Detachment does not mean you stop caring, it means you stop suffering for what is no longer meant to stay. Everything in life has its own rhythm, people, relationships, opportunities. And when their time is complete, no force can make them stay. To detach is to trust that what is leaving is creating space for what must come next. It is an act of wisdom, not weakness. Detachment begins with awareness. The understanding that attachment often grows from fear. Fear of being alone, of losing meaning, of facing the unknown. But when you cling, you block the natural flow of life. You prevent new experiences, lessons, and blessings from finding you. The moment you loosen your grip, you begin to breathe again. You allow life to move through you instead of against you. Detachment invites acceptance, not because it's easy, but because resistance only multiplies pain. When you release the need to control outcomes, you begin to experience peace, even amid loss. The heart becomes lighter, and the mind becomes clear enough to see the beauty in endings. To detach from what's leaving also means to trust your own completeness. Often, we hold on because we believe that what's leaving defines our worth or identity. But the truth is, nothing external can add or subtract from who you truly are. When you let go, you return to yourself, whole, capable, and unbroken. You realize that your value does not depend on who stays, but on your ability to remain grounded when things change. In this awareness, loss transforms into liberation. The pain of separation softens into gratitude for what was, and you begin to see that detachment is not abandonment. It is freedom. It is choosing peace over possession and growth over grasping. When everything in your life seems shattered, the instinct is to rebuild quickly, to prove to yourself and the world that you can recover. But real strength does not rush. It rises slowly, quietly, and intentionally. To rise again with stillness means to rebuild not out of panic, but out of peace. It is allowing yourself to breathe between the ruins, to observe before acting, to gather your energy before you move. Stillness gives direction to your rise. It ensures that you do not repeat the same patterns that led to the fall. When you stand up from stillness, your foundation is not pride or fear, it is clarity. You no longer rise to escape pain. You rise because you have learned from it. Stillness is not inactivity, it is alignment. It is the space where your mind, heart, and spirit begin to move in the same rhythm. In the noise of life, you may have lost touch with that rhythm, chasing distractions or approval. But when life breaks you open, it also offers a sacred pause, a moment to return to yourself. In that stillness, you rediscover your center. You remember that strength is not noise or aggression, but calm presence. Rising from stillness teaches you to act from intention, not reaction, from peace, not panic. It gives you the power to move forward with grace, unshaken by the uncertainty that once frightened you. To rise again with stillness is to embody quiet confidence, the kind that does not need to prove, compare, or rush. It's a strength that comes from knowing who you are and trusting the wisdom of your journey. Stillness refines your energy, making every step deliberate, every word meaningful, every decision grounded. You begin to move through life like water, soft yet unstoppable, calm yet powerful. When you rise from stillness, you no longer carry the past as a burden, you carry it as wisdom. You walk lighter, see clearer, and act with purpose. The storms that once broke you now become the wind beneath your renewed strength. So when life falls apart, when the walls you trusted crumble and the path ahead disappears, remember this: nothing has truly ended, only transformed. What you call destruction is often the beginning of deeper awareness, of higher strength, of pure truth. You are not meant to stay broken, you are meant to be reshaped. Every fall, every silence, every loss is molding you into someone wiser, calmer, and stronger than before. Do not rush to escape the darkness. Learn to see within it. Because even in the deepest night, there is a light. Your awareness, your resilience, your spirit. Let it guide you. Trust that every challenge is preparing you for the next version of your life, one that aligns more closely with who you truly are. The strength you seek has always been within you. Life's storms only remind you to find it. So rise not in anger, not in haste, but in calm determination. Rise with peace in your mind and power in your heart, because when you learn to stay strong as life falls apart, you no longer fear the fall. You understand it. You realize that strength is not about never breaking, but about knowing how to rise beautifully every time you do.